Yeah, hey, blind guy doing stuff today, and it is very cold today. Hope everybody's warm wherever you're at. Making a little short video today on something I came across this morning. I came across it on, I like to watch Japanese, basically Japanese public television, and they have a news show, and I like to watch it because they bring up a lot of stuff you'll never hear on American media. And they were talking about this new report out by the Eurasia Group. And the Eurasia Group is just a very big business and corporation consulting company. So they're trying to look out for basically the corporations of the world and therefore the governments of the world, because as we all know, those have kind of become one and the same. So these guys are just this was a study on their top 10 risks of 2017. And the one that caught my attention and got me wanting to do the video was their number one risk. Now, just a little background here. They've been doing this for 6 years where they look at all the political risk around the world. And they call this, what's coming up, a geopolitical recession. So, recession means to pull back or to go slow. So, they're also calling this a G0 world. So you have the G20 and the G8, and basically these are the most powerful countries in the world that lead the world. And what they are saying is now we're moving into what's called a G0 world. And, and if you think about this, kind of what we're having, Russia is trying to, they're more military these days. Their economy's kind of cruising along. China, China is a very big economy, but some political instability coming up. So the things that caught my attention were, and the number one thing that is going to destabilize the world and lead to, and they admit could lead to some very turbulent times ahead, is Trump winning the election. Trump's Independent America. So America First program. And what they are saying is, through this nationalism, Trump will be pulling back American leadership from the world. And this is going to leave a void. And we really don't know exactly what he's going to do. But they do know, and they admit that he's going to put American first, which, the America, as as they admit in Article 2, has had national leadership for 70 years, even though a lot of times it's not been the best. We have been out there in the world doing, for good or bad, doing things. And now we're going to be pulling back. So this is going to lead, as they say, one of the most unstable times since World War II. Now their next one, another one that kind of ties into Trump's America, was China and the instability coming up in China that might happen. It's the meeting of the 19th Communist Party Congress over in China, where I don't know exactly how their political system works, but basically they get together at a political convention and then re-elect their leaders or reappoint their leaders. And apparently there's going to be a really big turnover coming up in the upcoming Congress. And their leader, I can't remember his name, but their leader, and I don't want to say it wrong, but the Chinese leader, he seems to be, from what I was just reading, someone sort of like Donald Trump, sort of insecure, sort of not really sure, very touchy and sensitive. And the Eurasia Group is saying, with this swap of power coming up, and then everybody paying attention to China, this really could add to some problems because the leader there is so sensitive. Sound familiar? Because we have a kind of a sensitive, I call him the whiner in chief, Mr. Trump there. So the next one they were talking about, and this again talks about countries pulling back in our G0 world, is Angela Merkel there in Germany, her power starting to slip. And there's lots of reasons for that. We have Brexit, which means the UK is getting out of the Eurozone, so that kind of slips away some of the power of the Euro. Angela Merkel there in Germany, Germany's sort of the center of the European economic world. So Germany pulling back is going to start causing some instabilities. Now the fourth one, and I find most fascinating, is there's going to be no reform. Now, the Tea Party and the people who watch Fox News and right-wing radio and all this thing, they will tell you that Obama destroyed America. Well, the problem is Obama didn't really do anything his whole entire 8 years. You can go back and look at one of my videos. The Republicans blocked everything Obama tried to do the entire 8 years. So he didn't really do anything to actually change America. We are still living under 1980s Ronald Reagan revolution, where he came in, lowered taxes on the rich, broke all the unions, destroyed public education, stopped spending on infrastructure, spent more on military. Even that is sort of fallen back. On and on, this sort of neoliberal, and then the Democrats picked it up with Clinton, globalization. So all this has been going on. That is what has destroyed America, and it's destroying the world. Laissez-faire capitalism, out of control, crony capitalism, and we're going to get more of the same. In fact, it's even going to be worse with the upcoming Trump administration. I can't speak for China or Germany or anywhere else, but it's just going to get worse here, because now we have the very party that is for all this stuff in charge of our government. And despite everything Trump says, he doesn't run the country, the Congress does. So we are in a period of a capitalist wet dream, and we don't really know what's going to happen. So there's going to be no reform. Therefore, we're getting worse, and we're just going to keep getting worse. If your boat's sinking and you plug the hole in the bottom of the boat, but then you just keep dumping water in the boat with a bucket, you're going to still sink. So you got to change what you're doing. And so that was another big one. Another big one they had was technology in the Middle East. And that's sort of self-explanatory. The hold in the Middle East is very weak. We've already seen that with the Syrian civil war and the so-called Arab Spring, although that kind of didn't go anywhere in Egypt. There's kind of a sad situation happened in Egypt there. But anyway, so they're kind of predicting instability in the Middle East, which has always been unstable. Another one that I saw that was sounding interesting is Silicon Valley versus Trump. California, I mean, really didn't vote for Trump at all. And so the Eurasia Group is predicting that Silicon Valley doesn't want to work with the upcoming administration. That's going to be causing problems. Another one they had on there was Turkey. If you've been paying any attention to what's going on in Turkey, which used to be sort of the center of the world, Constantinople and then Istanbul, still sort of is the center. I'm reading a book right now on the Silk Roads, talking about how that area of the world is sort of the center of trade from Europe to Asia. So they having instability. It's just going to further retract countries into themselves. If they're having this domestic problem, they're going to pull back from the world. And frankly, the United States is pulling back from the world because we can't afford it. And we had all the money over all those years from starting first in World War II, massive government spending, bumped up our economy, and then that kept going with the space program. We had the GI Bill, put everybody through college, and we had jobs, and we had people going to college for free, and we had taxes, higher taxes, money being put back into the economy. So we had built up a pretty substantial middle class and the ability to sort of do all these things around the world, again, for good or bad. But over the years, all that's been eroded. You could almost hear the giant vacuum sound over the middle class from the United States starting in 2008. All that wealth, think about this, all the wealth that our parents and your grandparents and everybody accumulated over those 50 years. I don't want to give an exact number, but a large majority of it through foreclosures and spending all your savings trying to save your house. All these things that have gone on since 2008. Basically, Wall Street sucked all that money right back up into their pockets. They're not spending it in the economy. 1% took it all. And that's why we are dealing with, and it was already going on in Russia, and it's already going on over in the United States, everywhere else. The United States is an anomaly. We actually were one of the few countries that were able to do some socialist reforms and get a well-funded, rich middle class. But all that has failed and is going away, so we're retracting, and Europe is having to retract. The UK is having to retract. Because remember, you had Reaganism and Thatcherism going on at the same time. All these things combined, we're going to be getting a G0 world. I kind of like that word, G0. It kind of sounds kind of scary, ominous. So, which no leadership in the world, which who knows what's going to happen. I mean, if you're looking at it from a Eurasia group, it's going to be adding to instability, which is not good for business. Now, the instability is not good for the people because it's hard on us because we don't have anything and we got. I mean, I think the main thing right now, instability in the United States is just just a lot of violence, and there's a lot of domestic violence. There's a lot of suicide, a lot of mental health problems going on in the United States. That's the cost right now. But hopefully, and we can only hope that we can make it through all this and come out on the other side, and that in 2018, 2020, that we start electing people worldwide that actually want reform, and that we can start changing some of this stuff and getting back on track where we left off before Ronald Reagan and the capitalists came in and just their main mission is to break the New Deal. So yeah, that's the Blind Guy Doing Stuff. If you want to check that out, I have the link to this in the description of this video. If you like my videos and you want some more information on what I'm doing, we'll be doing some other stuff outside and here and there over time. Right now we're just getting this channel started. Please hit subscribe and like our video. And I hope everybody's having a great day, and I hope you stay warm. I am the Blind Guy.
Studio mode check button. Stop recording button.